Welcome back to the Vans World Cup of Surfing here at Sunset Beach. Round 2, Heat 13 in the water now. Dion Atkinson, Mitch Colburn, Joel Centeo, and Vasco Rivero. Just witnessed yet another stunning upset. But now we're on to another heat. We're going to start it off with Mitch Colburn on his backhand. This powerful goofy footer from Australia. He's been close numerous times, yet to crack onto that World Championship Tour, but he's got a shot now. Chris Cote here with Pete Mel. Pete, Ezekiel Lau in that last heat. He waited a couple seconds to hear his fate, and at the end it was Jamie O'Brien taking second spot. Here we go. This was during the break, Pete.
Well, this is Mitchell Colburn on the backhand slash, and sets up this inside section. You know, the lineup is with that tide drop, those bigger sets are shutting down on the inside bowl, so you need to kind of pick and choose, which makes it even more difficult than it already is out there in that lineup. Mitchell getting that start early, gets himself a 2.5. Dion Atkinson had also just a quick throwaway, but yeah, digesting that last one. Heartbreak for Zeke Lau. You know, I think there's a lot of people here pulling for him. You just see he's making his way to the beach now, and just to lose by 0.08 coming out of the qualifying series. But Mitch Colburn last year, I think it's a little different feel for Mitch this year, because he's not as close as he's been in the past, but he still has a shot.
Wow, Joel Centeo just dropping from the sky to a beautiful arcing carve on a massive sunset wall. Nice grab rail, cut back into the whitewater. Again, one more turn. Here he comes to the inside section, maintaining control. An incredible opening wave for Joel Centeo.
How polished is Joel Centeo?
I mean, that was just a classic sunset line he took, and he threw in a kind of a modern flair. Power, flow, speed, everything right there. It's going to be a great score for Centeo. I'm going to look out the back. It's Mitch Colburn. He's not going to get it. So Dion Atkinson will sit furthest out in the lineup with priority.
I like
Colburn
what
in second priority.
Joel did there, you know, made his way as far out as he could in the beginning of the heat and able to pick up a nice big classic sunset drop.
This is Vasco Rivero carving back into the whitewater. Wanted a big turn. Vasco, of course, big powerful surfer out of Portugal. Nice carving slice back into the whitewater for Vasco. So a solid opening ride for both yellow and blue. Different waves, different lines, but two effective forms of surfing out here at Sunset.
Well, I know that if I had Joel Centeo in my heat, look at this classic late tail dropping, big, huge. That thing's 4 times overhead as he drops in, big 20-foot face, carves his first turn. But this one, you know, it stays to the the east of the reef. You know, it doesn't have to deal with that inside bowl section. You know, it was a big west peak and it moved in towards the point. So it stayed open, allowed him to get that, you know, he finishes right on the inside. The rip's going to pull him right back out into the zone. So great start there for Joel Centeo. But I was going to say, as a guy like Vasco, who I'm sure he's got some experience out here, but if you're looking at somebody who has a lot of experience at Sunset Beach, Joel Centeo would be that guy. And he'd kind of, you know, sniff his tail a little bit, kind of paddle out with him, see where he's looking in, get that lineup that you've got, you know, like figure out where he's at. That's how you learn, you know. You shadow the best of the best out here. I mean, I had luckily had a mentor, Richard Schmidt, who surfed this wave really well. And I just watched where he was sitting and what on different swell directions and get lineups. And you watch Vasco here, and this is a great wave choice from Vasco. Again, out of the gates, able to get away with a couple solid maneuvers. So he's right in this one. Joel Centeo, look at the judge is loving it, which he's going to be doing a seminar as well.
All right. Big wave surfers take note, or anyone who just wants to learn more about water safety, brag.org. Here we go, 18 minutes, 33 seconds to go. Vasco Rivero speeding down the line on a mid-sized wave with a good line on it. Nice snapping carve, a little airdrop to finish. Goes back into the lip with a huge power gouge. Again, for Vasco now surfing this wave like it's lower trestles, smashing his way down the line. His first scoring wave comes through to 4.57. That'll be a solid backup. Centeo with that 8.83 in the lead. Mitch Colburn in third, Atkinson in fourth. Let's take a look at Vasco Rivero.
What I love about the guys from Portugal, Tiago being an example, Federico Moraes, Vasco Rivero, they know how to ride big wave boards. They know how to whip them around and make them look like shortboards, but hold those lines. And that's exactly what we're seeing from Vasko here. Doing modern moves, but I mean, he's riding probably 6'10", 7'0", maybe a 7'2", something like that. So it's a big board, but he knows he's so comfortable on it that he treats it just like a shortboard and surfs the wave like it's a small wave, which is exactly what you want to see in big waves. At least for me, I find it appealing to see guys whip around those big boards.
Whipping it around right now, it's Joel Centeno. Almost got into that wave, and he might have just got lucky right there. That wave maybe didn't have the best line on it. It looked good on the takeoff, but kind of flattened out as it went to that inside section. 17 minutes, 13 seconds ago. So consistent. But you see just normal people who live around here, and this is what they live for, surfing big Sunset Beach. That's why they live in this area. They like to pull out their big guns and paddle out. It's really fun to watch. Here goes Vasko Ibero. Wow, kind of a awkward extended turn. Almost lost his rail. Pulls it back underneath him. He'll pull out. Centeno is looking for something better than a .37, so obviously an easy call for him. And he's got plenty of time. 15 minutes, 43 seconds to go.
Well, that wave that Vasko rode there, 7.0, puts him in the #1 spot. Let's take a look at this one here. You're talking about kind of an awkward, there's so many bumps, and it all comes from the rip in the direction of the swell. The reef hobbles up. You can see the caddies there are getting a little too close. Beach commentary had to chase them out of the bowl. There is some current out there in the main peak, but it's not a lot.
Here goes Mitch Colburn on his backhand. Nice opening snap. Smaller wave here for Sunset, but nicely executed backside snap with an airdrop thrown in. He didn't try to find the airdrop. It found him, but he managed to hang on. Solid finishing maneuver for Mitch Colburn in white.
But it's mostly the paddling that's happening out there, not necessarily the current pulling him around, which, I mean, there's some of it as we watch a replay here of that backside hook. Gets the snap before this, too, and then right into it. Climbs the foam. That was beautiful surfing there. And pulled it off. So Mitch Colburn, on the inside there, picks up 2 moves, combination of major maneuvers, had a bit of variety there because he had the hooking snap and then the bash. And anytime you hit the lip out here, that's critical.
No doubt.
And so there's a degree of difficulty that happens in that. So nice work there from Mitch Colburn. He's making this one a good heat because he already has some good scores by Vasko and Mitch Colburn. I would say it's close to the highest of the day. I mean, we saw some scores in here that Patrick Gadauskas had an 8.83 today. Yaden Nickel had an 8.23, but yeah, it ties the highest wave as we watch Dion Atkinson with a 3.93. Nice arc, but then this wave shuts down on him, so it gets one maneuver, earns a 3.93. But right now, Joel Centeno sits in a position where he needs to back up his big score of the 8.83, so he ties the biggest wave or the highest score of the day, which Patrick Gadauskas got last heat. He was able to get through and took the heat win.
Well, I think it's a good plan if you're Mitch Colburn. You don't need a huge score, and here he goes, surfer in white. Mitch Colburn. Up and riding on his backhand, nice opening snap. And just gets caught behind. The wave breaks on his heels. He goes down. I like the aggression we've seen from Mitch Colburn, and watching him at Haleiwa, he might have just came in a little bit under on the aggressive side of things. He left it up to the judges needing a score. Just came up short. Here goes Vasko Ibero, current heat leader. Nice carve. He chooses to straighten out, and you see all the power. He is just barely managing to stay on his feet. He jumps off. He'll get back out there. 2 waves in a row. Not really offering much in the way of scoring potential. Colburn's wave is going to come in most likely under his 2.5, which is his low score. So he'll still be needing something in that 3.5 range.
But it looks like he may have an opportunity here as a beautiful looking wave.
Wow, this looks like almost a carbon copy of his 8.83. Here he goes, carving onto the open face. Forming up nicely, hoping for a double up through the inside, carving back into the whitewater, now setting it up. Got ample room and opportunity to throw these big carving turns. One more slicing gouge for Joel Centeno. He's trying to throw away a .37. Safe to say he has easily quadrupled that score. Some hard carving turns all the way on the outside, straight to the inside. back on his board, getting back out there.
Of course, the most exciting thing there for me, again, was that drop. You know, he positioned himself on the outside peak. Nice, solid set wave. Centered, makes that big drop. Carves his way through the inside. He'll easily take the lead. It's just by how much. But I think the judge is loving these late drops. See, ton of speed, drops in. The wave slows up a little bit, carves it back. You know, the one thing that this wave lacked, unfortunately, was that final move, that explanation point. But he actually did. You know, you look and see right here, he kind of lays it down. So, I mean, yeah, I think we're going to see another good score here. And he had to work for that one. It wasn't easy for him. And then Mitch Colburn. See what he does on this one. Gets the carve, snap, and then the wave shuts down on him. So this was the wave previous, which came in at a 2.87.
Just a little bit better than his low of a 2.5. And a frustrating heat so far for Mitch Colburn. Centeio, I feel like he is surfing with the perfect mix of that traditional power-based surfing with kind of a modern approach. You see the carves, he's just throwing a little bit extra in there, you know, just kind of sprucing up the end of his turns, which the judges really appreciate. And I think the scores are going to reflect the way he rode that wave. You know, it was not quite as spectacular as his 8.83, but some good turns nonetheless. It's enough for a 5.8, and that is enough to get Joel Centeio into the lead. Vasco Ibero drops to second. Colburn now, still attainable, needing a 5.91. Dion Atkinson, we have not heard from Atkinson in quite some time now. He needs a 7.64, 3 minutes, 25 seconds to go. You know, he'd probably have to get fourth place. Yeah, he'd have to get better, fourth or better, to get a berth onto the World Championship Tour. But here goes Joel Centeio, not serving for a World Championship Tour qualification, but definitely in the conversation as a Triple Crown favorite. Finishing that wave nicely. 1 minute, 5 seconds ago. Joel Centeio, you know, the Vans Triple Crown of Surfing obviously plays right into his strengths. Haleiwa and Sunset probably being two of his favorite waves on the planet.
Do you remember the wave he got last year at Backdoor?
All right, well, we've got a shot here now. Dion Atkinson up and riding. He needs a 7.64. Couple kind of slower cars, but throwing some power into the mix here. Now he goes up into the whitewater, bashing it. He hung on, just thrown off at the end. 15 seconds to go. All eyes now on Mitch Colburn.
He's up.
Mitch Colburn on his backhand needs a 5.91. See what he can do on the inside here. He needs to give it everything he's got. Speeding down the line and pulls in with no exit. Mitch Colburn laying it all on the line.
Well, he gave it everything, right? Did not give up at all. Both these surfers did. Even Dion gave it a good run there at the end.
Wow, well, we will get back to you with the official results of Heat 13. As of now, Centeio and Ibero making it through.